All right, welcome back to the Cube Counselor. We have another guest this week. Guest, introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hey, this is Magic the Simpsoning. A lot of you hopefully follow me on Twitter, do some memes there, and I guess my big claim to fame was taking every card in the Vintage Cube and replacing the art with a still from The Simpsons. So yeah, hi Leho Neighborinos, good to be here. Thanks for having me on. JT, is that how you
Yeah, that's
prefer?
fine, JT.
Okay,
My actual name is John.
John. Okay,
I am
yeah, my,
glad
my
that
name's.
you did not use your government name because no one really cares about that, right? We all know
Oh
you as
yeah, I mean
Magic the
it's
Simpsoning.
Charlie or you could call me Julius if you want. That's my tag my MTGO if you want to find me Julius F. Just yep.
And I don't know if you can see on the screen, but I am sharing some of your claim to fame as the
Oh yeah, I
we got Frostilicus thing in the ice here. We
think
got all
I'm
kinds of good
all
ones.
I'm gonna get is yeah, but show the people what they're what they love or what they're missing or whichever the case may be. So
Okay.
yeah, uh that was a good time. That ended up being just a you know kind of an idea I had, and then I got myself in deep, and it ended up being a ton of work. But it was fun, and I had a lot of feedback, a lot of really positive feedback.
Well,
Of
I'm
course,
glad
like I
because yeah,
used.
I kind of came in the middle of your adventure. Caught you. Somebody retweeted you on Twitter, and I don't know if I've mentioned on the show, but I am a huge Simpsons fan. So that was an obvious grab right away. But yeah, just you've been a great guy to interact with and just kind of seeing the project. But yeah, hopefully people appreciate, and we're glad to point it out here. I'm sure it
Yeah,
was no small undertaking to do all
right.
that.
I mean, I sort of just I don't know. I was just like on Twitter a lot, but I didn't on my kind of I had a different pseudonym personal account, but I didn't really have a lot of friends on there or anything, and so I just had this idea. I was like, this would be a good Twitter account. Like, this is something I would like to see someone else do, but why not do it myself? I have Magic Set Editor and Frankie. So all the tools were there to do this, and I just kind of put. And then I found the weirdos who love Cube and love The Simpsons.
You definitely did.
um, Actually,
All
the
six
first
of
people
us.
that followed me was the first guy who followed me was Meddling Mage, like Chris, the legit. So I was like, I'm on the right track here. So the legit Magic Pro, Chris Pakula, right? That's
Yeah,
that's who that is.
respect. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a huge Simpsons fan too.
yeah, and I interacted with him, and that was awesome right there. It was like a name I've known as one of the best in the game for more than half my life. So, um, but I digress.
No, I'm just. I
Uh,
don't know if you can see the screen, but as you're talking, I'm showing off some of your other
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no,
highlights. Right.
I still only see the Winter Orb art on MTGO, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I should. If I was a better host, I would have saved my favorite. But there are so many good ones. Yeah, I encourage
oh, no
people
worries.
at Magic, the Simpson one, Sims O one.
It's the one, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, just yeah, I encourage anybody just check it out. I have everything is downloadable, and if I tried to host uh, the set editor file, but what I don't know, I didn't spend a ton of time working out the technical bugs. But anybody who wants to get in touch and wants to go through the process or get the data file, be happy to help. And there's an image download on there too, so you can go through every card if you're so inclined.
yeah, no, that's super cool. Yeah, if people wanted to print it out or do whatever, that's a
Yeah,
cool way to share it.
you can make the proxies from
Share the
that, I
projects.
believe.
You should
Yeah.
have put your name at the bottom of the proxies to give
Oh
you credit.
yeah, yeah. That's whatever.
And
um,
I'm sitting on one right now, and I just wanted to point out that your choice for Relic of Progenitus,
oh yeah, here I'll open up my own
you
thing
you
so I can know what you're talking about when you're talking about my things, would probably be a good idea. Um,
you chose the stuffed animal of Nessie, where it says
oh
Macarena
yeah,
module.
so yeah, that was fun. I think that was good, and that's a little. I have a couple instances of continuity in there where I like connect themes. So I have Progenitus is the Loch Ness monster, and then the Relic of Progenitus is the little doll that Mr. Burns holds up to show everyone what the Loch Ness monster looks like, and
Right.
so that was good. Like whenever I did something like that, it was I that felt good. I was like, yes. Other times, I just cards where I just had no idea where to go with it, and the project was kind of a slog. Especially when it was like cards that I didn't think should be in the cube in the first place. Like when they did the reboot, they put the 5 color Nev Mizzet in there,
Oh,
and I
that's
was
got
like,
to be frustrating. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, I don't know, I don't want, I would never play this card. I don't know what to put. And I don't know. I chose something, and but yeah, when I got like the continuity going, it was awesome. So
When you got 540 or sometimes more because they switch in and out cards,
yeah.
I respect it. Sometimes they don't get your all, but the Relic of Progenitus one was funny because I've played Magic on and off for 20 years.
Hmm.
I've been back into Magic for a good 7 or 8 years, and your image finally made me connect that Relic of Progenitus is connected to Progenitus. Like that,
Oh
I've
yeah.
seen the card Progenitus 1,000 times, and didn't its name is right there in the title, and I was like, oh, this is amazing because I don't know why I just thought of it as the graveyard card and never really connected that it's
Right,
the Relic of
right.
Progenitus.
Yeah, I kind of, and I think I probably didn't either. And it was just when I was doing this, I had just so many names to go through, and I was like, oh yeah. But I don't think the art, the Relic of Progenitus art relates. Maybe I don't know. I'm not looking at it, and now by opening something, I've lost the. Where does it go when
You lost the feed, but
I lost the? Yeah, it's like I don't know, it's being very weird. But anyway,
I do appreciate you coming on, and obviously, you know, obviously we found each other on Twitter and we've been talking back and forth, and I've appreciated the connection we've had through that. But um, yeah, wanted to hear a little bit about your story. How did you come to Magic in general? Tell us how we got to this point where we're mashing up two of the greatest things ever into one.
yeah, sure. So actually, it's pretty intertwined. My love of magic and my love of The Simpsons both probably started around when I was 8. I'm 30 now, so this is 98. And I don't know why, but my mom was like, we went to an LGS. I guess just looking for cool. You're in upstate New York, right? You're in I was
Chicago,
like,
actually.
oh, okay. I saw that. Oh, your town name is also the name of a town near Buffalo. So,
I didn't know
uh,
that.
okay, okay. So I got you. All right. Well, so yeah, we had moved to upstate New York around that time, and I think this is a very small town, and coming from New York City area, so and I think like people from New York City, they go to small towns and they look for things to do. They're like, what is there to do around here? Um, so anyway, so yeah, so she found an LGS and looking for like a game to play, and we learned like Portal together, and she got me a couple packs of Ice Age, and I pulled a Jester's Cap in my first pack of Ice Age, which was a big deal at the time.
Hmm.
Um, which yeah, as a card, I don't have to get into it. And yeah, I was and so I was just really hooked on it. I always had a kind of predilection for fantasy, and then yeah, Simpsons around the same time, and it was just something um, my mom and my stepdad considered good TV, and then my people would tape VHSs of it for me, so I'd have. And I watch the same, and I do the same thing I do now, where I just watch the same Simpsons episode over and over and over again. Except I had even, I had more time then, and so I really internalized this stuff. Um, and so yeah, I was going to LGSs pretty young, just playing, and then that on and off, and I got really into it again in high school. I found some friends to play with, and I was really competitive about. I needed to be the best Magic player in the group. I don't think I was, but we had a good time. So then I kind of dropped it off in college, and I for had this very self-involved worldview, I guess, because I thought like when I stopped playing the game, everybody else did too. And then to my surprise, years later, I found it had blown up. Like all these, and my old cards were worth a lot of money, and that was sweet. And so I'd play it, and then I found one of the ways I could still enjoy it with my friends is we weren't really keeping up with the metagame. That we weren't playing to that extent. But one thing we could do was we could build a big proxy cube. Um, this was 2008 2009. It was a new thing. I'd read an article. I think I had read like an Evan Irwin article. um, he was big in pushing cube
Yeah.
in general, and it was a lot. I was just a lot like after my first cube draft, I was like, this is the only Magic I want to play again. And obviously this whole time, I got Magic. I've been on and off, but Simpsons I've been watching steadily the whole time. So and that's pretty much it. And yeah, I've given it up like everybody. A lot of people just give it up completely and then come crawling back.
Yep.
So you come like Homer through the door, the power plant, the supplicant little dog door.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and here I am, and I guess I'm as into it, if not more into it, than ever right now. I've just been loving like drafting on MTGO and consuming all this cube content, and then trying to catch up on all these newfangled cards that I completely don't understand, and the whole everything before like between Eldraine and the cons block, I'm like. Uh, a lot of good cards printed in that period, and I'm sort of catching up on all of those. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, very very similar story. Myself, a young Simpsons fan. My mom did not like The Simpsons. One of the few shows she hated, but we used to watch it anyway. Um,
So,
came across Magic. I don't know. I was probably junior high. Somebody bought like a sixth edition starter or something, and we played a few times. Then in high school, I found out a couple other people. Hey, remember you ever play this? Oh yeah, I played this game. Let me go through their cards. I found like a Ravenous Rats and I think a Hypnotic Spectre, and was just like, oh my god, these are the greatest cards in
oh
the
yeah,
history of ever. And then a couple buddies and I, we played. That was around Odyssey Torment. Played for a while.
yeah, that was
Then the
awesome.
same thing. You go to college, whatever. You know, significant other, that kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
actually thought I was super smart because I knew exactly what you were talking about, where you always come back crawling through the door. And I'm like, I'm gonna get rid of all my stuff. I'm gonna sell everything I have, all my fetch lands, all my stuff, and then when I can't sell, I'm just gonna dump it in a dumpster or give it to somebody. And then came back
Yeah.
10 years later and was like, oh my god, I had 50 entombs and
Oh
100
no.
chainer's edicts, and then I was like, oh, see the game. They always come out ahead, but it was like whatever. Once I played online for a little bit, was like,
Yep.
okay, this is cool. And then when I finally got back into paper around Cons of Tarkir block, I was like, once I started buying again, then I started with Commander and thought I could be casual, and then got totally hooked and bought, all the cards you can find and everything. They always get you again
Mhm.
once you're hooked. But
Yep.
it wasn't until recently I found Cube. So yeah, you found Cube way earlier
Yeah.
in the process, and now I've been like, okay, this is the old man game. This is the game I can play casually and still enjoy it.
Right. Yeah. I think Cube's really great. I feel like Cube can actually be you can be competitive and you can improve, but there's something about trying to master a format and build decks that just is such a time suck, and it's a money sink too. I mean, I'm a big proponent of proxying up a cube, especially if you've already spent a bunch of money on Magic cards. I don't know how much we owe. Now I blow my tickets on like I blow money on MTGO just losing cube drafts anyway. So
Yeah,
I'm still giving wizards.
they'll
I
get
feel
their
like they
money.
get plenty. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
definitely the same as you. Like now, I started kind of getting back into Commander, but yeah, just the more casual. Especially now, this year's been tough on everybody, and those are two
yeah.
of the easiest formats I found to kind of just play casually. I actually did a draft online with a couple people today, where we drafted through a program and then logged into MTGO to
Oh yeah,
make a
you
deck.
were part of the right. I caught some of that on I watched a little bit of JJ's stream and a little bit of J Bro's stream.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Yeah, I'd encourage you to
yeah,
jump into the next one. It was super fun and easy
yeah, and
and
yep,
free.
right, no, yeah. I also have a cube now on MTGO. I sold some paper assets, and I put a chunk of that money into building. I have a 360 and then a separate like one whatever the 4 player one is, 192 or I don't want to do the math on at the moment, but whatever. I think it is 192, but or 194 or something, but or six, but yeah. So I would host that. I just have to figure out how draft for sim works. I saw everybody was kind of learning too, so I guess I'm not in the dark. I'm not the only one who like doesn't.
Yeah, I think a lot
Well,
of us who again, this year has forced some of us out of our comfort zone. Like I had never even heard of it before, and it was cool. Yeah, I had a good time.
yeah,
Obviously, having somebody handle it, I certainly understand. He was having technical difficulties with trading and stuff, so you want to make sure you know the people, and they're not going to run off
yeah.
with your cards
The
digitally. But
the MTGO, and the right, and then the trade system is. I mess it up every time, and I like freak out because it doesn't have you offer anything. It just has you take. So I'm always like take. taking, and it seems like I feel like I wonder if the person on the other end is thinking I'm trying to trick them into giving me more. And but anyway, yeah. So when you only cube draft really on MTGO and then you try to actually acquire cards, it's like oh no, now I'm in. This is basically blockchain, and we're back to things I don't fully understand. So
Yeah, and some of the cards, like he even altered his list because some of the prices on MTGO. That's
oh, he was buying them on the spot.
yeah,
That's
crazy.
a bold move. Did he have like yeah? You find out. Well, that's what happened to me. Is like Lotus tripled in price over the last month for some reason. I guess maybe more people playing online, playing vintage or something. But
Right.
um, I blame the Supreme Draft Cube for. I think people had fun playing decks that were 20% Power 9 cards, and
And now everybody's all about it.
yeah, and now people are
I'm
like,
gonna play
I gotta
real
play more
vintage.
black
No,
books. Yeah, yeah. Um,
you can't even get
actually,
that many restricted cards in real vintage. It's insane.
yeah, I
You can't
know,
have
I
four
know.
mana drains. Well, I
Yeah,
guess you
it's
could.
nuts. The LGS I played in high school actually ran primarily vintage tournament, like small vintage tournaments on the weekend. So, but there were like 5 proxy vintage tournaments, and
Oh,
at
cool.
that time, the you could actually build reasonable, like dual lands were $20 each, and
Wow.
yeah, so this is like 2006, I guess, and
I missed
so
that one.
I
Never.
ended up I have like yeah, so that was that LGS owner, and it was one dude, and he was very old school. Um, uh, Not even I think Magic wasn't. It was a coin store primarily, but he did know how to play Magic and all the other games that he ran tournaments for. But he insisted on keeping it Type One and vintage just because just for that reason. Like these are an investment. I'm gonna have people. It'll be expensive at first, but they'll buy the cards and they won't lose their value. They'll be able to play any card from their collection, and that actually wound up being good for me. Um,
Nice. Yeah,
like
I played in a few places where they have a few proxies for Legacy and stuff, but never played in a vintage tournament.
yeah, I mean now you need the proxies for Legacy. Um, and even at that when that format was introduced, it was already getting kind of expensive, and um, like I think dual lands had started going up a little bit, and force wills were expensive, uh, and now force will you just can't get a cheap force will anywhere though. They're like $80 in real life or something, $60
Oh God,
online.
yeah. Jesus, everything's
it's
going up.
yeah, it's too much, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
I'm
didn't
not.
have anything crazy like that, so I don't feel too bad. I didn't have any duels or whatever. But
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, I know
I
you hear those
actually
stories, it breaks your heart. But
when I was on hiatus, I had my cards at my dad's house, and he had a pipe burst, and the bottom of the bag got wet, and I don't know whether to count myself really lucky or unlucky because like some expensive stuff got damaged, but boy, it could have been a lot worse. Like everything that was stacked on top was okay, and so now I have some just like I have some volcanic islands and some wastelands that are the most damaged. I think I probably can lay claim to having the most damaged wastelands.
oh, geez.
But I had other duels and a couple pieces of power that are okay. So
Oh
like
wow, that's good.
yeah.
Wow,
Uh,
I had that happen with the box of comics. Like it soaked almost
oh
up to where the comics were, and then it just the water didn't get to them. I was very like, but I don't have anything like Spider-Man #1 or
yeah.
anything.
You don't want to lose that stuff. I mean, it still has meaning. But actually, I wanted to ask you about that because I'm not. I have no familiarity with the world of comics, but you're really into it, right? And you do art for comics.
So I am a very casual comic book writer and letterer.
Awesome.
Um, yeah, big nerd, like all the nerd stuff.
No, I've always been interested. I just never had that. What would you recommend to someone, say a big Simpsons fan, to sort of what would hook me? Do you think?
A big Simpsons fan, probably like a series called Chew, Chew, about a guy who has psychic powers when he eats certain foods.
Oh, cool.
If you're looking for something like that or like Futurama, that comes to mind.
Yeah,
If you're interested, yeah, we can definitely talk about that. But
yeah. I was just curious. And then you're a musician too, right? Drummer.
yeah, haven't played in a while, but yeah,
Yeah.
I
That I'm a little more. I did a lot of music too. I was trying to be serious for a while, and like producing, and before that, just a lot of guitar, and so
Well, cool.
uh,
I
yeah,
knew that I liked you for more reasons than your ability to
yeah,
put Simpsons things on a.
right. It's crazy because when I post nonsense. Like I posted that Brad Neely thing, and you seem to be familiar. I wasn't surprised, but I was like, oh, that makes sense, and so yeah, similar tastes.
Oh yes,
Um,
I worship the Neely brothers and particularly Baby Cakes.
yeah,
He's
Baby
my
Cakes
idol.
is so. Oh my god.
He's my idol.
Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, one of the other things outside again of just liking magic in The Simpsons, but part of it is your sense of humor online lines up a little bit with mine. So that part of why I wanted to talk to you. But
So who won? The losers?
yeah, yeah. Thanks for
No, they
having. Yeah, same.
lost.
I'm glad
Losers.
we get to chat. But yeah, I knew someone out there would think I was funny. I
yeah, but
look at them.
part of what I wanted to talk to you about is in something I've talked about on the show, and of course you do not have to share anything you are not comfortable with, but we do talk about mental health on the show,
Sure.
and part of what kind of endeared me to you was you have a very self-deprecating sense of humor. You give yourself a hard time about your drafts. You're pretty hard on yourself, which I can relate to. I can be the same way. Even when I 3-0 a draft, my one buddy's always telling me, even as soon as you said you 3-0'd, you started saying why, the deck was, I just drafted Oko, so that's the only reason I want. He's like, you don't give yourself any credit. Do you like recognize that? And I kind of recognize that in you as well. And I'm just wondering, again, you can share as much as you're comfortable with, but do you
Sure.
feel like that's been part of your magic journey? Do you have a hard time? You've played for a long time, so you obviously, yeah, I mean, you're going to have some
Yeah.
skill, but tell me where
Yeah.
you're at with that.
On and off. Yeah. I don't know. I probably have some. It would probably do me well to talk it out with somebody in general, because I have a lot of I'd say I have a decent number of self confidence issues. Confidence Man 3, there's Arrested Development line. But yeah, with magic in particular, it's this is part of the reason I like it, is because it's a lot of the experience. It feels like other experiences you go through in life, but very condensed. And so with these kind of extreme highs and extreme lows in what ultimately is a low stakes situation. And it's, watching a good movie can be like this too, except with magic, you're performing, you're trying to apply a skill. So, and I have played a long time, so I feel like I've put enough time into it where I should be operating at a pretty high level. And I often don't. And, you could chalk it up to it being a complicated game. But sometimes uh, as the internet would say, it feels bad, man. You've sunk a lot into this game, and you do things that you play it badly, and a lot of the self-deprecating stuff, that's like, a recognition. That's me happy where I am with my skill, and knowing that a lot of times, yeah, I win because the deck is really good, but a lot of times, I lose because I've chosen a bad path, but I've one that's fun, and yeah, I don't know if you're referring. I went on like a particularly bad losing streak, but it was because I kept trying to draft 4-color combo decks, and and you don't always pull that off. So, but yeah, the things that legitimately get me frustrated, I try not to air it out too much, but like recently I timed out and I was just mad about it. And I woke up, I was fine, but I was kind of mad about it for like the hour I stayed up after that draft, and
I
just
can
because,
relate.
yeah, it's like I should nail this. I could have played a little faster. Part of you wants to blame your opponent for,
Sure.
he was dead, he should have conceded, but
Right.
it's like, no, I should have played faster, and then really take another step back, and it's like, it's fine. This isn't this is the thing you do for fun, and I think the appropriate reaction to losing is to be like, well, that not I'll do better next time, but that actually, just that experience made me better. That added something to my game. So I
Yeah,
don't know if
and
that's an answer,
no, that
but
I think that's great, and that's kind of the process I've gone through as well. Again, even being in the helping profession, we still don't always practice what we preach, and part of that doing this program was to kind of work through those things, like you said. You salt off. Timeout. That one gets me the most. I've timed out. As we all have.
Mhm.
Everyone hates to hear the bad beat stories, right? But I've timed out. With literally attacking if I had gotten through the post block step. Timed out
Yeah,
with damage on
just
the stack.
some irrelevant trigger, and
Right.
that's what it. Yeah, yeah,
And and then like you said, then you're angry about it because, like you said, all those reasons you laid out, which I think was great. I should be better. I invested in the money in this. I've done this, and then I get upset because now I'm thinking about it afterwards, and then I feel like an idiot for bothering. I'm like, why am
oh
I
yeah,
so upset? So there's a whole cycle to it. But
yep,
again, part of the show is I think it's okay to talk about it. We all go through those things, but I do
yeah,
get the sense that your self-deprecation is poking a little fun, but we all know too that deep down, the little jokes we make, there's a little bit of truth. So I will just say for myself, I'm trying not to be so, joking about, hey, here comes the O2 drop and here comes, which I am known
yeah.
for saying too.
And that was part of. I tried, I tried recording a draft yesterday, and I found myself being kind of negative, and also assuming all my opponents were men, which I'm gonna try not to do in the future because, um,
Respect that. I am also trying to get better with that too. So,
yeah,
but um, you mentioned too as well. You said I should be better or I should be doing better at this. I've been playing a long time. And I'm not sure, like when I throw out those comparisons for myself, I'm not sure even what I'm comparing myself to. Like, do I know other people's records? Do I know, of course, you see people like J Bro and stuff like that.
yeah,
LSV, of course, their records, going to be better. They have a high amount of skill for whatever reason. They play a lot. But outside of that, do I know what the general population, especially in Vintage Cube, where I would get, upset. I mean, everybody gets reanimated on, turn two or whatever. Everybody gets,
yep,
stormed off on. At a high variance environment, especially, I think you have to kind of go through those rationalizations and say, well, wait a minute. But like you said, I think it is healthy to say, is there something I did and can do differently? But I think if you're ruminating on things, again, I don't have any stats to show me what other people's right. Maybe there are thousands of other people going, 1 and 2 constantly. I don't know.
well, there definitely are. I don't know if it's all if there are people who jam 20 drafts and or if it's a lot of people who do one or two, and those are the people going 1-2. But overall, we're 500.
Right.
Yeah, so right, so um, there must be other people, but I don't know what they go through. There must be people who do two vintage cube drafts, go 0-3 in both of them, and that's
If
I
you
don't
are
know how
listening and
maybe
you
they
are
react
those
to it
people,
well.
I would, please comment, join my crew here because you're my people.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
especially
Um,
vintage, man, I just struggle.
And
I
that's
don't know.
I'm hoping as I saw what you guys do today, and I have the cube put together, and I'm especially when the vintage cube is down. I just think it's that as a format it should always be available, and if we can make it available at low stakes to people who are cool and will trade back the cards when the draft's done,
Yeah,
that's really my only requirement. Like be pleasant in the chat. Like don't be salty on the free
yeah.
roll. But
And I will say, I have not come across, I'm sure going to LGSs. As far as the cube community, I haven't found too many that are as spiky as I found it at retail drafts and modern events and things like that. So that's been pleasant for me too as well because that's a big part of it for me too is socializing and finding people that enjoy it on the level. But
yeah,
to relate it back to the Simpsons, I'm talking about comparing people. I have mentioned, as I've said, I felt like I was a big Simpsons fan, and I am. I've kind of come back around to it. But I started going to Simpsons trivia, thinking I was going to go and
boy.
clean up and show all these people. And oh boy, we couldn't even make the leaderboard in 20 teams. I feel like we knew some obscure stuff, but these people were on another level. And I tell you,
Yeah,
I went home afterwards. Me and a couple buddies started watching. Everybody's going to watch a season. And we're going to try to memorize. And they had it once a month. A couple months in, we were like, you know what? It is what it is. Like we're 30 something years old. Like what are we
yeah,
doing? Like comparing ourselves to other people who just happen to have this niche knowledge, in this one area that's quote unquote better than ours. let's just go and have fun and have a couple of drinks and we started getting like hyper competitive about it in a fun way. We weren't like too bad, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't cram 30 years of Simpsons knowledge. Well, actually, it was classic Simpsons trivia, so I only did the first 11 seasons.
Okay.
Um, so
So that's
yeah,
pretty.
so I thought that was a funny comparison when you were talking, thinking about my journey through Simpsons trivia and just like a few months in thinking, what, like, why am I being so ridiculous? But I mean, some of that's what draws us to Magic, right? That we kind of have that inner competitiveness and we're trying to find an outlet for it.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
it's the competitiveness and also just the that there's always. I don't think anyone's mastered to keep it support, but the Simpsons thing that's resonant because I actually follow like a Simpsons trivia account on Twitter, and I pretty much never know that. Maybe one in four, I'm confident in my answer, but uh, I I guess this is probably true of all Magic formats, and Cube is just the one I find the most fun. But I just feel like I can keep doing it over and over and over again, and find new things, and then you look at the people who are good at it, who like J-Bro and LSB and all the Cube for Charity guys, and Emma and all the Cube for Charity competitors, and they all had really different ideas on how to approach it, and so it's not you're trying to master something that is kind of proving to not have a clear answer. So and that I find that really compelling. And,
yeah, and I think again, I appreciate you saying it because I think we should remind ourselves of that it especially Cube and draft in general, it's a puzzle that can always change, and part of the fun is exploring it. And of course, we do want to win. And I went 1-3 in the draft today, but you know, it stings a little, but it's not all about the winning, especially when the stakes couldn't be lower. Why am I so worried about it? But again, that was just a topic I wanted to talk to you about. So I appreciate your honesty. I hate to put you on the spot, but
no, no
that is
worries.
part of what we talk about on this show. And let's
Yeah, and
let's
I'm.
let's fire up an actual draft, and then I can self-deprecate myself along the way.
All right, yeah. Can you just share one more time? I
Yeah,
don't know
of course.
what's going on, but I'm gonna try to just keep it.
Stop sharing. Start sharing. Anything?
Yeah, but it took a second last time. Yeah. I feel like I'm doing something wrong here. This is the kind of thing too. I'm a little talk about like insecurities, especially the cube community is as great as everyone is. There is a very high level of tech savviness, and I'm not hopeless, but it doesn't really come naturally. So I kind of have to.
Yeah, that is funny. There is definitely I'm
Oh,
I
I
would say low to mid level, and yeah, there's a lot of guys who are like, yeah, I put this code in and it automated this, and I'm like, oh boy, I
mean
guess I went into the wrong profession.
half my followers and people now people I follow, but they're professional programmers. I'm like, aren't you guys smarter than my really dumb Simpsons jokes? Like,
Never.
I don't know. Um, but yeah, that was a goal before the pandemic. That was a big goal of mine was to get some hard coding skills, and I had started doing spreadsheet code for work, and that was really rewarding. But I don't know, like just raising a little kid and then all that combined with the pandemic stuff just kind of knocked the drive out of me, and I.
Yeah, I was about the same age as you when I started making comics for the first time. A little younger, but yeah, getting into lettering and stuff. Like I didn't really
Oh
know
yeah,
anything about digital art, and it took me a while. There's a learning curve. I cringe when I
for
look back
sure.
at some of the old stuff, but 10 years later, I think I have serviceable skills. So yeah, you can't if it's not something you can devote to educationally or part of your job. You got to give yourself some credit. If you get a little better each year,
Yeah.
when you're an old man like me, you'll be a little better. Maybe. Can you see the screen now,
Hopefully,
or
yeah.
did it?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's small, but I'll work with it. I think we can work with it. Oh, okay, now I can. Okay. Maybe
I'll
I
shout
can
out
just.
some of the cards as well.
All right, yeah, I think I can see.
All right, so we're gonna fire up this here vintage cube draft. Before it goes off, it's been great. I've again only been in the cube for a couple years, but um, this seems like the longest they've had the holiday cube up. So All right, we got a
Yeah, I
bogus
think
pack.
so.
We're gonna drop right away and reopen it. Oh, this sucks. Probably something like Tezzeret, right? Or let me
Um,
tell you, we only got a minute, but what would you be on? What do you see?
I would probably take steam vents, but
Okay.
I could. Tezzeret is it goes in. So what's your plan with Tezzeret? What do you like to?
Tezzeret force the artifact strategy because it's kind of a parasitic one. So like my thing is like, okay, take the card that has the most narrow, but Ugin or Steam Vents would also jump out to me as kind of open, but something I could do. Chalice would jump out to me.
Yeah, I actually think if you wanted to trophy Path or Lightning Bolt or a Chain Lightning or whatever,
Yeah.
I actually think Path is probably but I would never do that personally. So, but yeah, go for Tezzeret. I'd like to see where this goes. I haven't been in love with the Urza decks that I've drafted, but I very well could be doing something wrong. So I'm definitely curious to see where this goes.
Yeah, and that may be, I might need a bigger sign, so we'll stay open. We'll go Steam Vents.
Okay, no, I don't want to talk you out of it. um,
This see, yeah, we got some interesting ones, but again, this is part of why I like to have people on and talk through it and see what they do. But something like Strix or Bitter Blossom jumps out to me. Maybe you're on the right path with red. Tutor, if we were going to try to be blue red, some sort of blue red storm.
yeah,
The portal's open.
a lot of I found the tutors to be pretty good, but I actually like Venser a lot too. But Strix is always solid.
And maybe if we get Tezzeret back, he's an artifact.
I think we might wheel the Tezzeret.
All right, come on, Strix. We'll be Grixis. Why not?
Yeah, the draft I did last night, I just picked Recurring Nightmare way too early, as I always do, and
I'm there with you. I love Recurring Nightmare.
I love it. So maybe we'll get a Recurring Nightmare, and I'll just
go to town.
Close this.
All right. There's our artifact. If we get our Tinker later.
Yeah.
Duretti also works.
Strix is one of those cards that is. It's just a key little piece in so many artifacts, and so many archetypes.
Yeah, it's a perfect cube card, isn't it?
This has Kiki Jiki and Pestermite in the same pack, but I don't.
I think whenever that happens, you're setting yourself up to try and wheel one, but I could be wrong.
It usually doesn't. All right. Well, what do you like here?
Duretti's okay again if we're thinking we're gonna get past.
I like that with what you got. Yeah, and I think you might be able to wheel Sphinx. And even if you don't, I don't think it's the best target.
Right. Sacrifice an artifact. We do return. I forget that one from your graveyard. Okay. I also like Felidar Retreat, but we're only 3 picks in. But well, I'll try to stick to a strategy.
I'm surprised because I poo-pooed Felidar Retreat and was beaten handily by it in multiple drafts. So
yeah, I've seen Caleb Durward just go off with it, and I think it is pretty good, especially in fetch land and all these crazy lands they got.
Yeah.
So I think I'm on Control Magic. I don't think we're seeing Great Blue, but
Mindslaver is really good with Duretti.
Okay. Oh yeah, go back. Good point.
Yeah. But I think if you want to do that, I think you're pretty well set up for like Grixis.
Grixis artifacts matter.
Artifacts, because now if you get Emery, that's another combo with Mindslaver. Goblin Welder is another combo. Look at.
I think we saw the Welder pack one, did we not?
Oh, was it? And that one's likely to wheel because that's one of the ones.
Oh, then there. Yeah, you just said
it. Emery, yeah, I like that here, and maybe you'll get a Lotus or even.
And we're not. Yeah, I don't see anything else. I mean, we need more artifacts, but we'll have a chance. I'd like this.
Even Lotus Petal is quite good with Emery, I find.
What is your likelihood that Emery would wheel? Somebody might just hate it, right?
Pretty low, just because it's a blue card.
Yeah, right.
I just never trusted blue card to wheel. There are other like Karn is really good in this deck too, so that is less likely to wheel. But I think Emery's more important to what you're doing. I mean, it's also awesome with Baleful Strix. That's like a moat right there. Like just
I like it. I like where we're at. All right, push. Commit to memory. Our pal we talked about, the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh yeah, Progenitus. Yeah. I don't know. Progenitus like only works with natural order, right?
Yeah,
I don't love it.
It just stinks without it. Basically, it is just natural.
I mean, you can sneak attack it, but just 10 damage. I don't know.
I think we're pretty much on a black splash, I'm sure, but push could be good.
Yeah, it's a good. I actually think commit to memory is a very good pick though. It's commit is counter spells are unreal
Yeah,
and
it's definitely overperformed for me. You think like a 4-mana kind of like this is garbage, but
yeah, they could put they could add all the three, like they could put that new one in with Foretell, the new counter spell, and it would
yeah.
be fine.
I did
Alright,
not look forward to
so,
losing to that. Maybe this.
yeah, Dire Fleet's never bad. Incinerate's fine. Angarth's Rampage is actually really good. If I mean, we're gonna need to look out for mana, but it can take out Planeswalkers, which I think are trouble for decks like this. That might wheel too, so.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, we might get that last pick. Last pick might be Liliana's
Oh,
Triumphant.
well,
I'll take it.
probably get something. Okay.
Foundry, Dark Ritual, Hero's Downfall. Not the best.
No. Yeah. Here's that. Yeah. And then the only other consideration would be Pyroclasm. It's probably a sideboard card, but it is really good against White Weenie, which is one of the best decks. So. But here's Downfall. I mean, we have the Angar's Rampage now, so, and I'm not sure how much black.
Yeah.
It
You
is a
sold
bad
me.
card.
You sold me on it. See that's one where I might not. Yeah, I just like black, so I always kind of go for. Oh yeah, that's good.
Pyroclasm was a weird one.
All right, Tezzeret
but,
came back. See, we're
all
geniuses.
right, yeah,
And
nice,
Goblin
perfect.
Welder. What's better?
Oh, boy. Welder Mindslaver is really good, but Tezzeret gets Strix now, which is awesome. It's like great, and I don't know. They both need help is the thing, so I don't know what we're more likely to get support on.
I'm gonna go Tez.
I don't know. When did Dad take the Planeswalker? I think
Yeah, right. And we've kind of got some other ways to mess around. Oh man, nobody's in red, huh?
Yes.
What do you want?
Actually, I have drafted mono red, and I haven't done great with it. I don't know if I'm putting. I think the with mono red it's weird. You expect it to want a deck full of 1-drops, but in practice you actually want some of the more expensive red cards and like artifact mana. All right, so yeah, I think here that the Sphinx is.
Memory Jar is pretty good, right?
Yeah, and
Faithful
Faithful Swing is
Swing.
good too in this deck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll let you pick this one. I don't want to be responsible.
I'm gonna go Faithful Sleuthing.
I think we'll get better targets.
Spec on a land.
So I like that pick. Yeah, it's a good. That's a good sideboard card against Splinter Twin decks. It's a good card in general, but probably not for what you're doing, except unless you play against Splinter Twin.
Burning
I think
good if we get artifact ramp, right?
Yeah, we really need to prioritize signets and.
Yeah. We got Daredevil back. That's cool.
Oh, that's awesome. That's crazy.
All right.
That card's pretty good. So I think you're red blue splash black here, right? And
yeah. So we could take Flooded Strand, Opposition Agent. They haven't gotten the chance to play, but I definitely got burned by it once. There's a sword.
Can be pretty nasty. That land in the bottom left is blue black, right?
Yeah, Dark Slick Shores. Yep.
Yeah. A Time Twister is good too if we get those signets that you're kind of looking for, but that's since we don't have them yet.
I mean, it is considered power.
Yeah, it's very powerful. It's just you really need the right pieces. And
I'm gonna take the fetch in case we get Watery Grave.
Okay. Yeah. Right. We have Steam Vents, right? Yeah. Fetch is the right pick. Yeah. Good call.
And I normally wouldn't do that, but I am trying to impress you. I'll probably take
I forgot it. Well, I forgot about the Steam Vents that I urged you to pick in the first pack. Ooh.
This is a tough one. Demonic Tutor, probably better in combo or storm. Abrade, super flexible, right? Great card.
Yeah. I like Preordained too. I think you might wheel the Abrade, given.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a sure thing or anything. I feel like you'll wheel something reasonable out of this pack though.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm more likely to wheel the Tar Pit over the. I feel like people super value Abrade in Vintage, but.
Yeah, Abrade you can't go wrong. That's a good
hopefully we get one of these, or even this.
All right, we do really need to look out for artifact mana, I think.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried that
Yeah, starting to get. Oh, there's our water grave.
Okay, well that's good though.
Or do we want bloodstain?
I think water grave, so your fetch can get any of your colors, and then
Okay.
any other fetches will be able to too. Any
This is a lousy pick too.
yeah. You never know. The bloodstain, the water grave is definitely not going to wield with the
Yeah, nobody
bloodstain
likes
line.
black red, right?
Yeah, it's a color combination I like. You can play crazy combo decks. I think I like the card. I'm still looking for some ramp, right? But
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be so difficult to have that matter at all.
I guess though, if you have enough removal, mate.
Oh man, are
I don't know
people
what else
just
you would take
gobbling up
here.
the signets? Well, it's only mid pack too.
Yeah,
Shrine of Burning Rage is an artifact, huh?
it's true. I mean, maybe you are playing like a big,
Big dumb burn.
like not and not a burn deck really, but more of like a big red style. I
So
think
Thunderbolt?
Kwanzaa is what they call it. Yeah, Thundermaw's pretty solid. I think that splits the difference pretty well because if you don't get enough ramp, that's just a solid threat. I don't know.
Bash. I'll bash with him.
It, I'm trying to.
Fumarole. Oh, there's your buddy, Recurring Nightmare.
Recurring
Let's
nightmare,
do it.
boy. It is good. You have faithless looting, and but yeah, the land is good too.
Yeah, I think I'll do the land. Maybe it comes back.
Yeah, you really
But
never
the
know
rest
with
is
that
really
one.
good, but
It kind of depends on your pod. Fast bond is really nice, but not for us, I guess.
I'll be disciplined. I'll take the lands so I can actually play my spells, which is a horrible problem I have. That's why I always draft mono green because I'm like, don't have to look at the land.
Right, you can just take the good stuff.
Academy Ruins.
Yeah, it's again with Mindslaver, you need a ton of mana, but that's pretty great. And then Lilithstone is good, but you need the signets. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see
Pack 3.
stuff
Pack 3 will
pack
be
three.
a
Yeah,
big
it'll be like
okay.
8 signets in a row.
Yeah. You don't see many signets.
Five Moxen. Oh, I haven't seen any. Well, Twister, I guess.
If you don't get a lot, it's not like this deck is reliant on its really expensive spells. You have a lot of good cheap stuff, and I bet you'll get more. So you could play. I've seen one time I posted a deck and someone like responded with the decks that had been doing well for them, and they had this really cool Grixis deck that was just all the cheap, nasty, disruptive Grixis cards all in one package. And so if you end up there, I think that's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, like we said, I mean, it's such a high variance environment. Sometimes you play the Selesnya, mid-range deck and you do okay, or sometimes you play mono green where they ramp off on you on turn 2. You never know.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't always, especially in this environment, can't always go by wins and losses.
Yeah, I think you have to plan for the games because usually at least one person has a deck that has the capability of completely steamrolling, but
yeah.
You gotta put those games aside and focus on the games that go a little longer. And
are we a Tangle Wire deck or are we a Mizium Mortars deck?
I actually really like Revoker here.
Oh yeah.
I will make a case for Revoker. It's extremely strong because all the signets running around is the main reason. But then it also has on Planeswalkers. Like
yeah,
I've been
search for it if I need to.
And then when you don't need it, you have some ways to
get rid of it.
To use it as an artifact. And then Mizium Mortars might wheel too.
Yeah, it might be the last pick. You're right.
You never know. Yeah, I like Hanger back. I don't think it's generally a super good card, but I like it here.
Yeah.
Well enough. I don't think we're like so aggressive that we're fire blasting when the other cards are not very good and overly black intensive. So
Thunderbound and Fire Blast, man, we'll get them.
Yeah,
that's it. That's our A game plan.
Yeah, it's plan A. I mean, the Ferocidon ends up doing a ton of damage a lot of the time.
Yeah, such a busted card. That's why it was.
Like that's the kind of thing I missed was them printing. I guess that they came back hard. I came in an Eldraine and they were doing insane things, but yeah, let's do it. Let's get. I was just Ancient could just win you some games. I think the sword's okay too. That's probably my least favorite of the swords that are left in the cube, but
yeah,
it is good against the
Wasteland's still in here too. What is? Come on, people.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the Tar Pit back. What else were we hoping for in here? I forgot.
I don't remember. Tar Pit's good though.
Tar Pit's great. Best man.
Rabble Master wouldn't be bad either, but I like Tar Pit.
Yeah, Rabble Master's just a great card.
Tar Pit, and Celestial Colonnade. I'm not sure which, but those are definitely the two manlands that are, I think, most justified in, like they're worth the cost of coming to play tapped. Yeah, let's use.
I agree.
We can't use Experimental Frenzy.
Oh, see, it came back.
I don't think so.
Oh, we could Null Priest. We could discard something.
Uh,
I mean,
yeah,
we'll probably end up cutting it, but that's what I should take, right? Oh,
yeah, I
Croxa.
think, you could try Croxa, maybe. Yeah, but actually, maybe try Croxa. That just has the opponent discard, though.
Yeah.
Right, it's not each player.
Too late.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think any of those cards are going to make it, but...
Yeah. We're not an O-Stone deck, but we're going to take it so one less person has it.
I don't know if I've ever seen... Batter Skull is interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and you were right. Nice. That's
cool.
something, at least.
Yeah, people don't like Museum Mortars, but it's quite good.
Oh, see what we said? All the signets. Oh, and...
All right, cool, perfect. That's yep.
Even though it's...
you might wheel a signet.
Yeah, hopefully, especially this one. Or
it's
we'll wheel the
completely
Wildfire.
off color, but
Hopefully
I think still good. Oh,
if
sorry.
we wheel Wildfire and we have other signets.
Yeah, that's good too. So I wonder if there just weren't many signets in the first two packs, generally. But yeah, awesome. Mox.
We'll take a Mox.
This deck
Oh,
really
yeah, here we go. Exactly what we said. Or Mox Diamond or Demir Signet? What do you think?
I like Diamond a whole lot, yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, hopefully we will this, but we probably won't. But that's okay. We just need that.
Yeah, it is good, but you gotta think. You remember, like Demir Signet has the mana symbols printed, but Mox Diamond also fixes for all your colors, and it's more it's a more legit accelerant. It feels really bad to get a Mox Diamond blown up because you discarded the land, but it can often be equally bad to have your Signet blown up because you spent a whole turn playing it. So that's kind of my take.
Diamond makes me wish we had taken that Rabble Master.
Yeah.
I could just run away with it.
This is like the Rabble Master pack with the Skull Clamp and Diamond. I think you're on Liliana now, though, so don't take Liliana.
All right, I took the Mox, and now Scarab God. Probably not for us, but okay. Oh, Shelldock.
Yeah, I think Shelldock. We're playing enough. Yeah, blue's gonna be pretty. We have a lot of blue, right? Yeah, so we don't have a lot of blue cards, but we have a lot of blue lands, and the blue cards that we have are pretty good. So
yeah.
I like Shelldock. Shelldock, Wildfire is pretty nasty.
Yes. All right, not the duels we wanted to see.
Yeah.
Are we digging? Are we body and minding?
Dig's.
Are we
Dig's
registering?
interesting. I like Dig, but I don't know if it's right.
Uriel Seal.
Body and Mind. I kind of hate Body and Mind being in the queue, but it does just sort of. Phantasmal Image is always a solid pick.
Yeah, that's kind of where I would be at, but I'm also
gets you out of jams. Yeah, I'd go with it. I was a little higher on it. I had a couple of games where I had it, and I didn't have a huge creature count. My opponent didn't have a huge creature count, and it was dead a lot. But I think the times when it's good, it's just like I've also had turns where I had a turn where I stole something with a legendary creature with a Zealous Conscript, and then I played Phantasmal Image to make a copy and kill their copy of it so they didn't get it back. That was awesome.
Oh gosh, that's amazing. That's kind of damage. So play search that player's library for an artifact card. That seems fun. I don't know if Battle Sphere is.
It's good against you. Battle Sphere is. I like Battle Sphere. You got Shellback. We've got one accelerant. Battle Sphere is good because you have like a couple discard outlets and the return guy. So the
Emery?
Dreddy. So.
Oh yeah, Dreddy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So. Yeah.
Suncool, GTA. This is a good pick. The Salt. We're not really a GTA deck, but isn't every deck a GTA deck, right?
It's never bad to have at least in the sideboard. But Stonecoil's Stone Coil. It's very solid. Is Basalt Monolith a consideration here?
Could be.
It's kind of
easily Wildfire. We're very short on mana rock, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but how could also just have a lot of cheap cards with the artifact thing being sort of incidental.
Yeah.
How many creatures do you have?
12.
12. Okay.
9 seconds. What do you want?
Oof, I don't know. I think you gotta go with this one. I think your vision is
All right.
gone.
Basalt it is, because I don't think we're
Right.
getting back those signets. And then we could go Gonti. Gianti's just a good card, right?
Yeah, Gonti's strong. Are we gonna be double? I guess we kind of have to here. You could do the Gilded Lotus. It's going pretty big, but um, it's a pretty solid card. It helps. You have some X spells in there, right? And
Just to hang her back.
but yeah, I guess stick with. So are you saying this is red black splash blue or red blue splash black?
I don't know what I'm saying. This is
All right,
part of the problem I get into, but we're
well,
going
go with
Gonti.
go with Gonti then. Go with Gonti.
Oh, and we totally missed this. Oh, wait. This is the first time we've seen it.
Is that a shop?
Yeah. But I don't
Yeah.
think we have enough for shops, do we?
Well, you got.
Wish Claw.
Yeah,
Could also take
Claw's really good. If you're not gonna go with the shop, I would go with the Claw. But I actually really enjoyed Claw, but that's good too. Actually, the Shadow Scroll.
Shadow Scroll. This is a tough
Personally,
one.
I guess the shop is. I guess
I
the
don't know.
shop's
In
not
3
really.
color, I don't think I really
Yeah,
know.
yeah. All right. Yeah.
I'm going to take the Shadow Scroll.
Okay. All right. That's.
And we did get the Wildfire back. So now I'm glad we took the Basalt Monolith.
Yeah. So it is good with the Basalt Monolith. It would be. Maybe we'll get the. I don't remember how.
There is a red fetch. It only gets 1 land, but
Siege Gang's good too, but yeah, you could definitely take the Wildfire.
yeah, I'll take the Wildfire.
Yeah, you have 3 Mana Rocks, which is not
Not get
unreasonable.
the darn. We did not get those back, but
That's,
stuff happens. Oh,
All right,
Fire Ice though.
Fire and Ice is really good too.
Yeah, that's fun. Probably Mesmeric Fiend.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there's not. Yes.
Thassa's Oracle in the long game. Imperial Seal.
Yeah, Imperial Seal is a fine card. Regisaur is not bad either. I guess this doesn't quite have enough.
Do we just want to beat down?
Synergy. Yeah, let's go with let's do Imperial Seal. I think.
Oh, I wanted to beat down.
Oh, sorry.
Oops,
well,
I forgot. Krark.
it's
What does
down,
Krark do?
How many?
No, I don't even know.
You need some copyable instance. I go with the Rager actually, because that's just a solid thing to guess. Whatever. Yeah, white was probably a color to be in. But
Yeah, I think we did all right.
yeah, this is a cool
This
deck.
will be a fun one. Just darn it, if we just got those. Yeah, but we got 2 mocks. I can't.
Yeah, one more signet. But yeah, those boxes are not to be underestimated. And I think I actually
Tells you
like
I can
that you
untap
got
things.
Imperial Seal and a little bit of selection you can set up. This is a deck that you should definitely. I do this all the time. I screenshot before I go in, but this one you really want to know the cards in your deck since you have all the tutors and the.
Yes, and I make that mistake many. And I'm like, what do I got?
Yeah.
What is this deck about? Who am I? Especially, I don't always play mine in one night, you know.
Right, same. Yeah, but I have a whole folder of. It's like every cube, NTGO cube draft I've done in the
Nice.
last. Yeah, I started after a while because they used to save them all, and then one day I went in and I couldn't find them, and it turns out they were just in a different place. But I was like, oh, well, I should save this because it's fun to go back and look. And it is. I actually have a good time.
And that was part of the impetus for the show too, is to be able to go back and watch through my drafts and stuff like that and see, because I do have trouble, remembering kind of stages of draft and what I missed and what I picked over what. So it is nice to kind of have a record in whatever way. And I do often share my decks with my buddy who's the host of the channel I'm on, and so I talk about them with him, and I got the pictures in the messenger and everything. So it is good because I definitely was having that trouble early on, was just kind of going through the motions in draft and not taking the opportunity to at least try to learn something each time, instead of just going, oh, I lost because they had this. Well, maybe if you had taken Duretti over this or whatever, So we'll see. I won't force you to sit here and watch me stumble through the drafts, but I will keep you updated.
Okay, sounds good.
And I do appreciate you coming on. Anything else you wanted to say, or any more plugs? Any are you doing your Futurama Cube project next? What's the...
I learned that Futurama is not streaming on Netflix, so it is. But I don't know. I might make some Futurama cards. We'll see. I don't know that the show as well.
Yeah, me neither.
It's a good show, but it's not. It does have the resource, the same Frankie X style. You can find any quote from it. But no other plugs. I guess if you don't already follow me on Twitter, you check it out, see if it's for you. Magic the Simpsoning. You search that, you'll find me. And
Come for the proxy, stay for the freak.
yeah, the just endless, not even endless, but the memes that pop in my head. But yeah, I mean, I would just if you're watching this and you're not already ensconced in the Cube community, there's really no better place to be. It's everyone in it's super cool. Like come meet JJ and JBro and and the gang. Uh, it's just been a really positive thing this year and a year, or these last 12 months, because it's a new year, but it doesn't really feel like one. And
Yeah, totally.
uh,
But
but
yeah, no,
I appreciate so much you having me on, and
not a problem. I
uh,
appreciate you wanting to jump in. I think people have been hesitant. I'm not. I don't feel like. I mean, sometimes I'm a jerk online, but I try to be welcoming.
uh,
And yeah, you're right. The Cube
yeah, this
community.
is like free. You're giving me some like pro bono mental health help, which is awesome, sorely needed. So
We do not
yeah.
we do not claim liability for Charlie's mental health. Disclaimer. No, I really do appreciate it, and we'll have you back on another time. But yeah, I
Cool.
do appreciate it,
Yep.
and thanks for coming on.
Anytime. Thanks.
All right, so we are back, and we thank Charlie, Julius, Magic the Simpsoning for coming on with us. Appreciate the conversation. We did play the games again off camera, so again, let us know if that's something you're digging or you want to actually see some gameplay. We can certainly make that happen. But yeah, these conversations are going a little longer than I initially intended, so certainly don't want to keep people too long. Got a lot of life to live out there. So uh, without further ado, here's the deck that we ended up with. And our wonderful co-host for the week, he abandoned us, so I played some games without his feedback. I think he was drafting his own deck, playing his own vintage cube. So I played a couple games right away, fired this up, quickly went 0-2. But the reason I bring it up, and I think this is a good illustration of our conversations that we've been having in general, and particularly this episode with Charlie. We went again. We went 0-2, but then he offered some suggestions in Twitter DMs. He responded the next morning, so I went 0-2 and then kind of said, let me sit on it for a minute before we post another 0-3 here, and see what he thinks. Obviously, the deck is underpowered. If you know anything about Vintage Cube, we're doing some powerful things, but we missed the 2 mana rocks. We obviously don't have enough of the 0. I mean, 2 is okay, but you get what I'm getting at. We really needed those 2 mana rocks to make the double wildfires really good. But we got a decent matchup the third round. And again, with some of his changes, I think he recommended dropping most of the black in general. And again, he was probably right, but I just felt like we probably weren't main decking Pyroclasm, or Croaxa wasn't really doing anything to advance our plan. So I went with Opposition Agent just because that's fun, and this is my first time getting to play that. So, and as we've gone over many times, that's a fun reason to play cards in Cube too. So I felt like it went much better, and it wasn't just because I think the first game we played mono. No, was it Esper? I think. They mulled to 5. They didn't play much the first game, and then the second game after we wildfire them on turn 3 or something, they conceded. So, but it wasn't just a good draw. It was as you can see again. There's some pretty big differences here. I love Gonti. I have like many cube drafters have an unhealthy love for Gonti. Mesmeric Fiend I just kind of thought was a good card. Thought it would fit, kind of disrupt what my opponent was doing until I could get set up. That was Charlie's recommendation to take it out. And in both games, this is the one we ended up on. This felt a lot better. So that's kind of what I wanted to highlight here. Is again, take the lessons you can. Um, I really probably should have streamlined. Forcing the double. Even I got stuck with Gonti in my hand in at least one game, and then I also had the Academy ruins, which I took out, which ended up probably wasn't a real use for it. I mean, I obviously can bring back Mindslaver, but with just the 3 colors and not having, a ton of fetch lands as good a fixing as I would want, that was probably a mistake too. Because we're already running it, unless we get Mox Diamond, the ultimate fixer. A Mox is a Mox, but it's an off-color Mox, and we're trying to run one of the MDFCs as a land. So yeah, again, I appreciate his feedback. That's part of what this is about, and I thought I would share, that learning experience that I had. If you're already kind of underpowered, and missing some key elements, maybe taking the risk wasn't worth it. Some people might say, hey, just go for it, and then maybe you spike a 2-1 or a 3-0. For my play style and my play level, I probably should have streamlined a little bit better, because that the extra black was probably too much. But yeah, that's kind of where I was at. Anything can happen in these games too. So I'm glad that we were able to draft this. This is something that I don't typically lean towards. So this was a fun experience. Had some interesting lines. Again, even though I went 0-2 to start, I felt like I think against Splinter Twin, I was like, one turn away from, if I get the Ferocidon down, they can't twin off on me, and then, oops, there's Otter, a ferret. And then if in another time I did get it down, and then they stole it from me and used it, to bash, so that happens, but this was a good call. Just happened to be very good against that. So there were still some fun games. Glad I pulled out the 1-2, at least got some play points back. And again, appreciate our guests coming on. We are going to have more guests here. We've had a couple people respond, so hopefully you're enjoying these episodes. And yeah, we'll keep the guests coming on until they don't want to come on anymore. And then we'll jump back into drafting and talking to ourselves. So again, appreciate it. And, this was a good representation of our saying on the show as we get better together. So I do appreciate the feedback that I was given. So, I could use this experience to improve a little bit in my gameplay. So I will see you all on the internet soon.